Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me in the back? All right, excellent. It is an audio-visual medium, so the audio somewhat important here. But hey, welcome to the 40th anniversary party for Brattleboro Community Television. Yeah! All right. My name is Chris Lenois. I'm the vice president of the board here at Brattleboro Community Television. I first want to acknowledge Wendy Mason, our president of Brattleboro Community Television Board, who could not be here tonight, and she's done an excellent job being the president of the board. And I believe now it is my pleasure to introduce the executive director of Brattleboro Community Television, somebody who does a lot of things in a lot of different forums here to make everything that happens at BCTV possible, along with the rest of the staff, of course. But please welcome the woman taking a photograph right now of everybody, Trowbridge.
Okay, wait a second. I get the full effect here. Okay, we're going back to the future. Did everybody see my BlackBerry phone? What time is it? That's my favorite joke of the night already. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I'm really thrilled to see everybody here in this great space, this 118 Elliott. And normally we host this event in the studio and it's packed, but this is even better. I want to acknowledge our sponsors. These are our programming sponsors, and they provide underwriting throughout the year for programming. And we even have event sponsors for tonight. The Savings and Loan and the River Valley Credit Union supported this event. We also want to thank Hazel and Wyndham Wines for being here and providing the food and drinks. Okay, now we're going back to the future. You can clearly see who I am dressed as, right? And the reason this is relevant is this guy is a time traveler, and we are going to be traveling through time to celebrate BCTV's 40th through the medium of video. And Roland has created an incredible montage made up of hours and hours of archives that we digitized over the course of the year in planning for this event. Doc, eventually, I don't want to give this up if anybody hasn't seen the movies, but Doc eventually concludes that time travel is really too dangerous and shouldn't be done. But as an organization, I think we all know that it's essential to our survival to acknowledge where we've been so we can see how far we've come. And is anybody out there? That was the name of a show in the 90s. This was a show, a live studio show, where they would have people call in and try and guess what was in the mystery can. Terry Carter. That's right.
Mike Cosmet.
And Mike Cosmet, it was his show. And I bring that up now because that's a question that we always ask ourselves in public access. Is anybody watching? Is anybody out there? Does anybody care, right, about what we're doing? And here tonight, we're here to celebrate how many people do care, and a small group of people who did care way back when is the reason that we're all here now. The BCTV board was appointed in November 1976. That's why we're celebrating right now. And that was just appointed as a town committee. And they got their first select board meeting on the air almost a year later in October of 1977. Don't tell me I'm wrong, guys, because I'm just going with this. David Chase, David Califf, Larry Smith, Maris Morrison, Ira Wilner, Mike Gerald, and many others stuck with it. And when I first came here as an executive director 10 years ago, the very first thing I did was to organize the celebration of the 30th anniversary. And to do that, since I really didn't know anything about the organization, I read back through 30 years of minutes, and I made a giant timeline of all the major milestones and all the people who had been involved over the years. And we went through and we interviewed some of the founders to talk about the early days. A lot of those interviews centered on governance issues, the struggles with the cable company, no funding, no equipment, no money. If you had equipment, you couldn't make it work, or We couldn't make it talk to the cable company, all the struggles that were sort of on that level. But for the 40th, we really wanted to focus on the fun part of BCTV, which is the shows. And those were the part that kept everybody going, kept everybody coming back, wanting to learn, wanting to be creative, wanting to share their views. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to show these old shows? Well, lots and lots of digitizing. Here we have Nell Curley with a box of tape. She looks happy, but she's not really happy because that deck is a beast to deal with. And here we have some interns working on a hard drive that Mike Cusmet sent down from Burlington full of producer files from the 90s. And they're sorting through it and cataloging it. I even made a little video of how fun it is to make these decks work. So you can see this giant deck. Oh yeah. Here we go, there it is. And, oh, this is a good one. Oh yeah, that is action. Pushing buttons. Okay. Well, the key thing is to have the letter opener and to put it in at the right time, or you can't eject it. You're going to get to see the montage shortly, but I'm going to quickly do what we have called over the years the State of the Station address, which just tells you a little bit about what went on at the station this year. So you can know what's new and what we're moving on from, what we're heading toward. And at the last meeting that we had, I was talking about all the strategic planning we were doing. We were doing surveys, we were interviewing boards, and we were putting it all together. And what we ended up with was not only a plan for 6 years, but we also ended up redoing our whole mission statement, vision statement, tagline, all the things that we need to direct us forward. Just heads up, the mission statement had not been ever rewritten. So this is in its original 1976 power to the nth degree. And it basically says, we will do what we have to do. And our new mission statement is shorter and a little more, hopefully, a little more inspiring and leaves room to do more than just do what we are required to do. Not that there was anything wrong with it. Okay, got some critics up front here, but anyway, it's important board work, and I'm really glad to have it done. The other thing we ended up doing was going through and getting all this input and prioritizing what we want our goals to be for the next 6 years, because that's how long our contracts with Comcast are. And sort of surprising to me, number one was content. Really, that people that want BCTV to become known for high quality original content and meet the community demand for news, local news, meetings, lectures. So that's really interesting. That came out really on top. Technological parity, that's always something that we talk about. But again, we're constantly trying to keep up so that we remain relevant. Diversify the producer base and the tools. We want to keep changing up what we're offering in terms of tools to attract new types of producers. And also raise the visibility and awareness of the station. That's always something we need to be working on. Quickly in programming, we produced yet again another 1,200 plus hours of local programming, which is a little more than every year and more than the average across the country for all stations of all sizes. So we're really like the little station that thinks big. The news show that Roland had produced for 5 years, whereas a co-host with an intern and sort of a news desk look, we have just rebooted with Green Mountain Mornings Tonight, which is our new news show in cooperation with WKVT, the Reformer, and the Commons. And this is two journalists basically talking through the week's news, and then we're uploading that radio show by the same day, by the end of the same day with B-roll. So we're getting immediacy, we're getting journalism, we're getting collaboration, And that's something we were really after, and it's much more sustainable, effort-wise. We've got a whole bunch of new studio shows that you'll be hearing about later today, and these add to our stable of existing shows. We also had an explosion of Act 46 meeting videos. You've all heard of Act 46, the school consolidation measure, and these are meetings that we didn't even know about at the beginning of the year, but we're spending a lot of our time filming, and the study committee, the study to the study, the executive to the study, anyway, I'd like to draw a diagram, but that would be impossible. Anyway, it's very nice to see when somebody new comes into these meetings, which are very complicated subject matter, often you hear them say, go watch the videos. So this is a reason I think that they're filming them. New technology that we've been using this year, for our live events this year, we no longer took the modulator and then put that onto the web from the channel. We did it in reverse. We did a live YouTube stream and then took that, which is much higher quality, and put that on the channel. So flip-flopped the way that we have been working. So the result is a lot higher quality pictures. The also major milestone was this year we went live from Leland and Gray, which you can see way in the distance, 500 feet away. That's where our internet source was. And down here in the baseball field is where the graduation was. So to go live over YouTube, we had to run a cable all the way there and have the internet machine going way up there. And we just had to hope that it was working because we were too far away to go check. Anyway, it was a huge success in that it worked. And so Leland and Gray friends and families are able to watch their graduates go across the stage in real time. YouTube, we have all of our video on demand is on YouTube. It's on our website, but it's also hosted on YouTube. And we have about 250 views a day on our YouTube channel, which is Brattleboro TV. One development that YouTube brought without us asking this year and started refining was making subtitles available for shows. And for short shows, it consistently puts them on. For longer things like meetings, like 3-hour meetings, it doesn't consistently put them. But I just wanted to show you that so you could see that it's actually pretty good.
Chris Lenois back with you on the Green Mountain Mornings program. Time now for our regular Tuesday conversation with members of the Brattleboro former staff. Day editor Bob Audette taking a turn today. How's it going, Bob?
Great, Chris. How are you today?
Doing all right. And we're trying to do this simultaneously with a Facebook feed as well as doing it on the telephone. And it's great because I can see the little delay between your answers and your face on here. So this is going to be really disconcerting as we go through this conversation today. But
well, don't look, Chris.
Oh, that's probably the best advice I could be given all day.
So you get the idea, though, is that if you either need to have captioning or if you prefer to read instead of listening, YouTube says it's only about 80%, but for something like this, it's really not bad. So that's opened a new door for our viewers. The other thing that happened this year is that YouTube started being archived to the Internet Archive on a weekly basis, archive.org, which is supposed to be preserved forever. So I stumbled across our channel on archive.org, where they've just got a widget going and downloading every week everything we put up on YouTube, and it goes into this, and it tags every single word, and so it's all searchable, and we're getting views there. So, and that's without us doing anything except for noticing it, which might not have happened, right? Another thing we had this year is we have a new studio desk that is configured. Yeah, that electrical tape worked for a long time. But this, the configuration of this table allows guests and hosts to face each other sort of more conversationally. and we think that's going to help people feel more natural on screen. The drone. Had to get a drone because this is now just a regular video tool, and I have to bring you a little video of us doing that. Downtown, we're videoing the traffic. There we go, traffic cam. So this is to get a clip for the news show, or we did fly it at Harris Hill last year, various applications. Producers, because of the FAA requirements, the producers have to have staff operating it, but producers could say, hey, I need this shot, can you help me out with that? Speaking of which, all of that new tech. Here we have our production manager, Roland Boyden, presenting at the Alliance for Community Media Conference this summer on 4K, using 4K drones and virtual reality in public access. So it's sort of a new tools panel. And here we are. The guy sitting right next to him is from Northampton Community TV. So we're living in a good area to be learning all about this stuff and presenting about it. It was really very impressive. The other thing we were doing at that conference was accepting our award for overall excellence in PE&G access for our budget category. And that was really a first for us because normally we've been winning awards for certain shows, one show or two shows, individual shows. And for this, we had to submit 15 different clips from different programs, different types of programs, public, education, government, and I had to do a write-up about our station and its reach. So this was a really significant award, a milestone for the organization. What's up next? What are we looking ahead to? We want to be providing a DSLR kit for producers. More and more filmmakers are, not more and more, filmmakers are using this type of equipment, and we want to make that available. The other thing that is going to be next is we need to replace our aging broadcast server with an HD one. When will there be HD channels? That's a good question. Last year, we had people in this very room come and testify at the Public Service Board hearing on Vermont Interactive Television and come to focus group meetings and make their views heard that we need HD channels for our stations and that we want to be on the interactive program guide so the shows can be DVR'd like everybody else's. What the Public Service Board is going to decide, I don't know, but it'll be decided soon. And after that, we will keep going. What I learned from watching old videos is the heading of this part, which is, we've been watching these things and you'll see it, and technology changes all the time. You know it, it's changing while we sit here. We change how we do things at the station every month, if not every week, because we find something new, it's a different way, it's an easier way, it's a better way. I always say, if you don't like change, don't work for me, because, we're just going to keep going. And that's what the job demands, really. But what we have seen in these videos is that the motivations that bring people to public access television have not changed over the years. People want to either record a meeting because they want it to be heard, they want to watch it for themselves and draw their own conclusions, they want to use this incredibly creative form of expression, video, to tell a story, to make people laugh, to share an experience, to share their knowledge. And that has really remained a constant. So the motivation that caused you to form BCTV just is still running along. The tools change, but the people are the same. That's great. And that is echoed in our tagline, which we came up with last year: be informed, be creative, and be local. Thank you very much, and I'm going to bring up Chris again.
All right, we have a little bit more business to conduct here at the annual meeting before we get to music from the Peter Miles Band and back to the food and things like that. First of all, the votes are in, and I heard there was a strong push to write in Cooper the dog. But I'm happy to say that Alex Beck is now officially been voted a board member here at BCTV. So congratulations, Alex. Looking forward to seeing you at the November meeting. Thank you so much. And now we have a bit of business to take care of where I temporarily adjourn this annual meeting of members in order to convene a very brief meeting of the Board of Directors to elect officers. I need a motion to temporarily adjourn the meeting from the annual meeting of the members and convene a meeting of the Board of Directors. Do I have that motion? I so move. Okay. Second for that? Thank you, Pauline. So it's been moved and seconded to adjourn the annual meeting of the members and convene a meeting of the Board of Directors. Would all in favor please say aye? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, the ayes have it. The meeting is temporarily adjourned. Will the meeting of the Board of Directors come to order? And in order to do so, I need a motion to elect a slate of officers.
I move to elect the following slate of officers: President Chris Lenois, Vice President Jim Verzino, Treasurer Martin Longereau, and Secretary Lynn Barrett.
And do we have a second for that? Thank you. Are there any additional nominations? Okay, seeing none. All in favor of electing that slate of officers as presented, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. The ayes have it. The slate of officers as presented is elected. And certainly want to just acknowledge again Wendy Mason and her service to the board as president for the past few years. We are now willing to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Board of Directors and to reconvene the annual meeting of the members. Do we have a motion? Thank you. And do we have a second? I second the motion. Thank you. All in favor? All opposed? All right. The meeting of the Board of Directors is adjourned and the annual meeting of the members is reconvened. We now move to the next order of business, which is member comments. If there are any members who want to comment or make a suggestion before we watch the montage and recognize producers, please either stand up or you're welcome to come up to the mic. Yes.
I just, Ian Keel, long-term member, been on the board. I just think it's dastardly of Court Trowbridge to fill us with such delicious food so that we forget any complaints we might have at this time. So I just have to say, it's really a wonderful spread of food and beverage, and I appreciate that being offered.
Other member comments? Or are you all, definitely full enough that you're feeling kind of nappy or something like that? Great. Okay, yes.
Dan Seiden, it was a longtime member, board member at one point. It was a very hard year for me, and BCTV really rode to the rescue on a white horse. Thank you so much, Roland, Jeff, Core, Vlasta, for everything this year. I just really, really appreciate it. All I learned and all the support you guys gave me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan.
I'm not going to talk too much right now because I actually narrate this thing, so you're going to have to listen to my voice anyway. But just a few quick notes. Core alluded to the hard drive that Mike Cusmet dropped off. And Mike worked really hard all throughout the 90s, and his work preserving all of this content and digitizing a lot of it was just a godsend to work with. I also want to acknowledge Joshua Gentili, who's here. If you can just put your hand up, Josh. He worked with me to go through all that footage, hundreds and hundreds of hours. We're trying to kind of figure out an estimate. If we generate 1,000 hours of video a year, they didn't do that in the early years, but we're looking at somewhere between 15 and 30,000 hours of video that have been produced in the last 40 years here at BCTV. Obviously, a lot of it landed on the cutting room floor, but we've tried to do justice to it here, and I'm gonna fire up the video.
All right, viewers, here it is as promised. We've got you queued up for a little time travel, taking a trip back through BCTV's history, and we'll do it one select board meeting at a time. Just messing with you, we wouldn't do that. Although, we've got some vintage select board footage in there for sure. Anyway, here it is, 40 years of BCTV. First, some basics for any BCTV noobs out there. Brattleboro Community TV. Oh, that's our building right there. There's our office and the studio. Okay. BCTV is a PEG, or Public Education and Government TV station. Nowadays, it's just called a Community Media Center. In recent years, that means more than just our channels on the cable lineup, just Channel 8 and 10, but also a pretty serious web presence with new content posted daily on BrattleboroTV.org, our YouTube channel, Facebook page, online, all the time, all across the universe, you name it. These days, you can count on BCTV for well over 1,000 hours of new video every year, with content that comes in every flavor imaginable, thanks to the station's free speech mandate. And with new and better technologies making it ever easier to create and share local content, that 1,000 hours could well be 2,000 in the decades to come. But once upon a time, even 1 hour of programming was near impossible at BCTV. That's right, I'm setting us up for a little history here, and we'll start with the 1970s. The 70s, am I right? Not that I was born yet, but anyway, this whole thing began in 1976 with a reformer columnist by the name of David Chase, who started scheming on a way to get local select board meetings broadcast on TV.
It was in 76, and David Chase worked the year before that to get to the point where we were ready to have a board.
It was always a constant struggle. We had to make it up, and we had no equipment to speak of.
To put it in a little context here, at the time that BCTV was officially founded, there wasn't a single other public access station in the state of Vermont. In fact, there were only a handful in the entire country. And the FCC mandate that would bring nationwide public access to the fledgling cable TV industry was just a few months old. So it all goes without saying that there was absolutely no money for a venture like this either. But with a healthy dose of blood, sweat, and tears, by 1977 they had begun broadcasting those select board meetings live over Warner Cable on Channel 8, and in the process, they managed to create the BCTV we've come to know and love today. So that pretty much takes us into the 80s. And by all accounts, the first real instances of volunteers getting to have some fun. With the select board meetings under their belts, BCTV set its sights on becoming a full-fledged TV station, adding local variety shows, arts programming, interview shows, community events, and more to the resume.
Once the lights go on and the cameras start rolling, there is this excitement that you're producing a television program or you're on television.
Shows like Take 5, a weekly program that promised any and everyone 5 minutes of screen time in the studio to perform their talents, 30 Minutes from Marlboro, hosted by Marlboro College's Rod Gander, and of course, the legendary late-night spoof Brattleboro Tonight with Roger Bland, which brought new levels of outrageousness to the cable airwaves, even intersecting at times with the select board coverage.
You have life-size models of the Brattleboro Selectmen. Now, at the Brattleboro House of Wax, for 25 cents, anyone can come in and touch these models. And this is Larry Smith. Isn't he a little heavier than he is in real life?
Pretty cool so far, right? Okay, time to head into the 90s. Now, the early 90s brought an abrupt end to that golden age of creativity when Warner Cable took over the station and pumped it full of recycled national material, shutting down any local content. But thankfully, by 1993, BCTV was back in action.
We started officially as the first executive directors of the new iteration of BCTV, which has been non-existent for the last 2 or 3 years, is actually starting up again.
With a renewed focus on the region's art scene and a new wave of civic engagement. Giving rise to a generation of shows like Brattleboro Live, The New Show, and The Pulse of Brattleboro, an on-the-street interview program with then State Rep Darrell Pillsbury that would span 3 decades to come. On into the new millennium we go. The 2000s and the digital revolution gave rise to a new era of programming, as all digital media acquisition and nonlinear editing made creating shows worlds easier and cheaper, ushering in ever more local personalities and stories. The 2000s also saw the addition of a new channel for BCTV, Channel 10, allowing for twice the airtime. While Channel 8 remained the public channel, Channel 10 was given reign over government and educational programming. Shows like The Pulse were joined by the likes of Naked Brattleboro, as host Frederick Noyes took to the streets with his signature query, "What's your deal?" while the interview genre enjoyed a renaissance at the hands of folks like WTSA's Tim Johnson. All right, the 2010s are next. A decade with a decidedly uncatchy name, but plenty more goodness for BCTV nonetheless. A new contract with Southern Vermont Cable in 2011 meant that BCTV officially octupled its select board coverage, adding regular meetings from the towns of Vernon, Guilford, Dummerston, Putney, Newfane, Townsend, and Jamaica. Yes, I can say those all off the top of my head. 2012 brought with it a brand new HD studio for BCTV and the capability to create entirely new kinds of programming, including shows with guests Skyping in from anywhere in the world. Shows operated entirely by the on-screen talent without any crew in the booth at all. Heck, even shows with fiery explosions between segments instead of cross-dissolves. And speaking of explosions, the explosion of mobile technologies in recent years has seen a new generation of content producers created seemingly overnight. Producers using the camera already in their pockets to document the community around them and share those videos on BCTV. The 2010s also marked BCTV's foray into local news, a venture that helped solidify a new foothold in the community while strengthening ties to the region's other media outlets. So what's left? Well, if you'll grant me one last minute here, perhaps a look into the future's not a bad idea. What do the coming decades hold for BCTV? Well, of course, only time will tell, as they say, but if history can be trusted to repeat as it so often does, BCTV's future should be a bright one. If this look back over the years has any big takeaways, I believe it's this. The technology, the town, of course, the hairstyles may change along the way, but the things that motivate people to use BCTV remain the same. That drive to document the community around us, to tell its untold stories, to challenge the status quo, that's what's defined BCTV over the decades. Each era at BCTV has brought with it a new generation of passionate people who've given it their all to continue the traditions of creativity and ingenuity at the station. The question is, who will it be that steps up next?
And we will put that on YouTube too, so it goes by pretty quickly. And I say that having seen it about 200 times myself now, so there's a lot to catch there. It'll be worth checking out again. So, but yeah, thanks to anybody and everybody that made a video that made it into that, and hopefully in another 40 years we'll have another 8-minute video or it might have to be 9 minutes by then to put together. So.
Okay, now we've come to the producer. It's time for the producer awards, and this is producer recognition. Every year I say that what I wanted to do always is to give every single person an award, because that's what I feel we should be doing, because everybody who does everything contributes to BCTV. But it is also great to recognize people who went over and above over this year, and I think the people that we're recognizing tonight are really, really deserving. So I'm going to turn it over to Roland, and I'll be handing out the awards.
Yeah, okay, so just to kind of outline how it's going to go here, I'm going to quickly talk about the award itself, why we give it every year. I'll announce the winner when the clapping starts. If you can come up and kind of come around, Cora's going to hand you that award. I'm going to gush about you for a little bit while you stand there in front of everybody. I know that sounds great. We're going to play a little clip of the work you've been doing. And then if you'd like to, and we hope that if you'd like to, you can come up and say something, although you don't have to. But if watching your own highlight reel gets you thinking a little bit about what maybe to say, come on up, and then we'll do the whole thing over again.
You're going to go over here and take it.
Oh, yes, that's right. So we've got a whole photo zone here, and Jeff is going to take your photo. So we'll set you up with that award. We'll document it. That's right. So where that softbox is pointing over there, the balloons, that's going to be the zone you head to. So it's this victory is immortalized. Okay. I'm going to be trying to play these clips here too, and I've left myself a little note about when to pause the video and unpause it. Okay. It's not going to help me with this, but Okay, so we've got I think 7 awards to do, so we'll try and get right into them here. Our first award is the Community Partner of the Year award, which is not to be confused with the next 2 we do, which are the Municipal Partner and the Nonprofit Member, which is very fitting for the region we're in. The Community Partner is a more general award. We look at whether they're organizations or individuals in the community who've stepped up to really integrate what they do with BCTV. And our winners this year are the Winston Prouty Center for their show Family Matters. I believe Chloe Leary's here. So Chloe has hosted over the past year the Winston Prouty Center's Family Matters program, and they've produced 11 in-studio interviews, which is full of just terrific information for families of young children. They've done a great job lining up guests, getting a number of different people to talk about what I hear is a really difficult thing, which is raising kids. And they've also hosted local forums on early education, so just a critical topic. And we've got a little clip here.
Welcome to another edition of Family Matters. I'm Chloe Leary, the Executive Director of the Winston Prouty Center. And Family Matters is a show where we talk about matters of interest to families with young children.
And unfortunately, pregnancy is not a time where we can just eat whatever we want, which would be lovely. And we're not eating for 2 adults, we're really just eating for 1 and a little more.
We can also say, I'm really frustrated right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a deep breath and calm down. I'm gonna take 2 deep breaths and calm down,
right.
You know.
This is one of 5 forums, and in our community it just felt like a good idea to be able to talk to one another. So that's why we're at small groups. Thank you. I have to say I'm really honored to win this award, especially given the context of BCTV. I had no idea. And so I feel especially honored in that context to be standing here and being able to participate in something that feels really part of our community. And that's an important part of Prouty. Early childhood is so critical, and this feels like a great vehicle to get the word out there. So I always say, don't get into early childhood because you like kids, you better like adults too. So not to be confused with the famous Family Matters, but it's been really fun, and I really appreciate getting the award and all the support. Thanks to Lenois for being the producer. So thank you.
All right, when we're doing our first photo shoot of the night, on to the next award, which I alluded to, our Municipal Partner of the Year. So the montage here, we alluded to the fact that we, in the 2010s, added 7 other towns in addition to the Brattleboro region for covering their select board meetings, and we cover a lot of other municipal meetings as well, all that Act 46 stuff. And so each year we try and look at those towns and look at those efforts from the towns, both when it comes to serving their own constituents and also interfacing with BCTV and helping us document what they're doing. And this year, that award goes to the town of Guilford. So Guilford got our attention last summer when they had a select board meeting get over 1,500 views over the last year. They've managed to tally, I think, almost 4,000 views, and they consistently get over 100 views on their meetings, which may not compete with a Taylor Swift video, but for a local municipal center is quite a lot. We consider that to be the equivalent of 100 people attending a meeting. So it's great that they're getting the word out, getting their own constituents involved in the decision-making process. In addition, they've worked really hard. They've had some trials and tribulations with the Green River Bridge in Guilford, and they've worked hard to get all the information out to the public, even hosting meetings across the bridge when it was under construction so that constituents that were having to make that laborious trek around the bridge could meet on the other side. And we've got a quick clip here.
Since we have the highest ratings for select board meetings, because so many people will watch, I don't want to wreck the secret. Think I'm okay?
Shoot it. Go ahead.
Go for it. Town of Guilford's being awarded their Community of the Year for 2015-16.
You two have been doing this a long time. You know how he thinks and he knows how you think because you're comfortable with each other, and that's great.
Can you move to have the board chair sign it in front of a notary? Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Something for all of me.
For getting the highest ratings for their
TV children.
viewing the videos on TV and for being good collaborative partners with our excellent program people and being transparent and open in our communications. So.
Just a couple things. I was asked, I think I was the first one, right, when we started. For some reason, you couldn't get somebody to do Mondays. So you said, Ian, can you go down to Guilford? And I think Guilford was one of these communities that hadn't had their meetings broadcast, so we're a little bit reluctant. But they've really taken to it. Certainly, some interesting things. I always joke that I live in Brattleboro. I know more about Guilford than I do about my own town because I shoot almost all their meetings. What's interesting, just so you know, that Guilford went from a 3-member select board meeting to a 5-member board. That was done through their it was put up to the citizens, and they expanded their board.
So I guess thank you on behalf of the town of Guilford and the Guilford Select Board. We really enjoy working with Ian and BCTV, and you're such a huge resource for the community. And certainly the Select Board and Katie Buckley, who's our town administrator. We just appreciate everything you guys do.
All right, on to our nonprofit member of the year. I was once told that Brattleboro has the highest nonprofits per capita in the entire country, and that does reflect on BCTV. A lot of what we do is serving nonprofits and helping them get their mission out, and so we try and highlight a nonprofit each year that has gone above and beyond to document their own mission, but also interface with BCTV, generate some content, and this year's winners are the Brattleboro Historical Society. So Karen Davis is here to accept the award, and I'm sure she'll talk about it as well, but Bill Holliday and Reggie Martell in particular, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but they've worked incredibly hard to document a lot of what goes on in the community in conjunction with the Brattleboro Historical Society, and it seems fitting on a night when we're honoring BCTV's history to also honor an organization that works incredibly hard to make sure that the history of the region is preserved. And we've got a little clip. They have done in-studio interviews with folks. They've gone out in the community and filmed events. They've gone through archives. They've made proper documentaries. It's been really impressive. And here's a look.
I knew that I enjoyed an argument, and I knew that I felt like through that in-conversation, that's sort of how I figure out what the next step is.
I was the physician for 900 men for 8 months. And in the last 4 months, I was with 3 other doctors in a small hospital.
We received top briefings on combat killed per day, operation wounded.
I had no idea that there was no place in the town to eat. And in Spanish, I said, "Is there any place in this town to stay?" And they looked at me like, "Who is this guy?"
Hi, I'm Karen Davis on the board, and I'm accepting this award on behalf of the entire board. The Brattleboro Historical Society shares quarters in the Municipal Center with BCTV. Now, how many people know that? Thank you, 3, 4. Thank you. We are on the 3rd floor, right near the studio, and we are open Thursday afternoons and Saturday mornings. We were one of the best kept secrets in Brattleboro until we began partnering with BCTV. We have learned a lot about coming into the 21st century with your technology. We want to share our collections with everyone through BCTV and online. And if you would like to volunteer with us, just email us at histsoc@sauver.net. Thank you so much.
Next up, Volunteer of the Year, and we're going to find out how well we kept this secret. Volunteer of the Year often goes to somebody who does a lot of work behind the scenes and may not show up on camera. That's not the case this year. Our winner is on camera all the time, but works incredibly hard and has really driven a lot of what has happened at BCTV this year. Our winner is Chris Lenois. So you know Chris, he's been emceeing the meeting, and you probably know Chris anyway, but Chris has, in addition to being on our board since March of last year, has stepped into the shoes, tough shoes to fill, but he's done an incredible job taking over for Tim Johnson, who became the Vernon Town Clerk and had to step down as the longtime host of our show, BCTV Open Studio. Chris has jumped right in, worked incredibly hard to prep for all these interviews, ask terrific questions. In addition, when we were feeling like we just couldn't sustain the news show we were doing in-house, we invited Chris to a meeting where he didn't really know what we were going to ask at all. And we just said, hey, Chris, can we just show up and film what you're already doing? We'll just put a camera on you. And he's graciously agreed. And it's really changed everything that we're able to do at BCTV in terms of news content, putting to work his terrific journalism he's already doing, in addition to the Commons and the Reformer. And so in addition to everything you do on the board, Chris, we've just been great to work with you this year. Let's see what he's been up to.
Chris Lenois back with you on the Green Mountain Mornings program at 16 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. Welcome to Open Studio on Brattleboro Community Television. Welcome to Meet the Candidates on Brattleboro Community Television. This is going to be really disconcerting as we go through this conversation today. But I blew the pun there, trying to do that. But don't get me wrong, I would do the same thing. If I had a chance to interview somebody that I liked.
Yeah, I didn't say no.
You didn't say no. You're a day editor. You can only think one day ahead, huh?
Maybe usually only 2 or 3 hours ahead.
All right. You did an excellent job keeping this a surprise. I had no idea, so thank you. I don't consider myself a volunteer. I really do enjoy being a member of the board. I really appreciate Martin Langeveld for asking me to be part of the board, and I wish he was here tonight. I appreciate Steve West, who's here, who I succeeded at WKVT, and I know this was a vision going way back to when you were a host there, to do more work with the mediums and the different media points in town. And it's really been great getting to know everybody on the board as well as all the folks here at BCTV. And reason I got involved is I wanted to make content better here in the Brattleboro area. And I think the staff here, the technology, and all of you out there are really doing a great job of that. So thanks for letting me be a part of it.
All right, on to our producer awards, and we're going to start with New Producer of the Year, which I always find such a fun award, just to get to meet new people and get involved with new people and see what folks do when they come in and have ideas to create new shows and how we can guide them through that process. And our winner this year is Gerry Del Monico. So just to give you a little background on Gerry, he started with us mid-August, and he's already created 25 shows. So he's been incredibly prolific, and he's doing it in a way that is really terrific. We have been saying for years to anybody that comes in with an idea for a show, and you've got this camera already with you, you've got a cell phone or a tablet, you can just start shooting, start filming, start making your shows. And Gerry has really embraced that workflow, going out and creating programs, documenting the community. And in the process, he's become a really terrific ambassador to the downtown region, helping more and more people find out about BCTV by not only going and filming interviews and shows with people, but then following up and saying, hey, this is when you're going to be on TV. This is how you can watch TV. This is the website you can go to. So that follow-up has really helped get BCTV out there. I've had a great time working with him, and I've got a quick clip here.
We used to water by hand, so we got the pickup truck. And here is a 210-gallon water tank.
Here's what we do is we wrap bricks in sterile foil, and then we bake them at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. And then we put them in the bottom of the cooler, and then we stack the tacos on top.
Can you tell me what's going on back here? This is kind of neat.
Really love it.
Yeah.
Highlight of our weekend.
All right, well, that's great. I appreciate it. Thanks. You can go a little quicker if you want.
We keep the shelves full because people like to dig.
Well, I'm pretty new here, and I don't really deserve this, but I think I know why I got the award, because I stop in Harmony Park, Harmony Plaza every Wednesday and pick up chicken sticks and bring them to the studio for everybody to eat. So that's probably why they gave me this. All right, thanks a lot.
All right, on to Returning Producer of the Year. I feel like every year this is a really important award because, as we all know, life gets busy, and because everybody does what they do at BCTV as a volunteer, it can be easy to work for a few years, and then it just is hard to make it keep working when you're doing your work full-time and your family and everything. But oftentimes people come back after a hiatus, and to highlight that journey to come back and do new things at BCTV is important to us. And our winner this year is Dan Seiden. So after a 7-year hiatus, Dan has returned to BCTV and immediately made full use of all the new technologies that were there. He's jumped in head first. He's learned the new edit software just about as fast as anybody I've worked with. He's put our studio to use in many different capacities, using our green screen, using our set, bringing folks in to play with him, do music, do all kinds of things, and it's been great to see, and we've got a clip of it here.
It's me, Daniel. I've been working on this little vamp in the key of E major.
Yeah, it's questions time, okay? How many notes are there?
To be ready for Rock Shop, you only need to know one set of notes on your instrument. And I'll give full information on all notes for every jam I present.
Who's the best dog in the world? But you'll know that if you watch this informative video right now.
You know, this is so out of the blue because I didn't canvass for this at all, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Roland, Boyden, you were just an unbelievable mentor, an unbelievable producer. He really does so much, and I almost feel cheated out of the opportunity to struggle for my art with Roland there, because he just makes it so easy. So it really is. Roland, Corv, Vlasta, Jeff, thank you so much for being here and for all you do for us in the community. I want to say one more thing. If you're out there, if you're in a dead-end job, there's something for you better out there. Go ahead and go grab it. Trust me, you'll be in a better place. BCTV can help you to develop those skills to get there. So go for it. Love you guys. Thank you.
All right, we're getting down to the end here. Next up, Series of the Year. As Cora alluded to, a number of new series in our studio has made this a difficult decision. We go through and look at shows that are consistently produced. And our winner this year is Greater Good Entrepreneur with Jim Verzino. So Jim has created a show that really ticks all the boxes here. It's technically impressive. He's made use of the two things we really wanted to highlight when we redid our studio, which are the ability to Skype people in from other places and also have a single operator. So we'll see in a moment on the video, Jim is doing all the operations himself as well. So he's cutting cameras, he's lining up his guests, and in the process, he's asking them great questions and getting them to talk about really interesting subject matter, which is the other part of it when you're clicking the mouse and doing all those things to really elicit these really interesting conversations as well. And that, to me, that subject matter has been the real crowning achievement for this program. Let's take a look.
Hello. Welcome to Greater Good Entrepreneur, where we interview social entrepreneurs who are doing good for the world, good for their families, and good for their communities. Today we've got Jen Briney. How long would it take from the time that I want to do it until the time that I'm probably ready? Because it sounds like there's a whole plan that needs to go into place. Most people that pursue their real passions do 2 or 3 things at the same time.
I would say in the first 10 months, it's safe to say that we paid ourselves back. We got in the black.
We need to ask the hard questions of how much time do we need to be putting into this, and really carving out goals for the coming year.
2 hours after President Obama signed this into law, gutting the Stock Act, it was the Boston Marathon bombing. And so obviously that took over the media, and so very few people in this country know that that ever happened.
Thank you very much. This is a complete surprise. I had no idea this was coming, so completely unprepared. But I do want to the only thing I can do here is thank Jeff and Roland. These guys have just been amazing. You know, when I first got started, you saw that intro roll. Jeff had me over to his house on a Sunday night. He helped me set all that up, you know, completely volunteer himself. And Roland puts up with my incredibly annoying, inefficient, you know, things happen a lot for 3 weeks, then nothing for 2 months. And I mean, these guys just do so much. And I've lived in a lot of different cities. The fact that we have people of their caliber in our station, unbelievable. So to Jeff and Roland, that's who gets this.
All right, and with that, it's time to unveil our Producer of the Year, kind of our headline award here. It's a tough decision every year, but we try and look at just behind-the-scenes work, in front of the camera work, all those things, scope of the work. And our winner this year is Ezlerh Oreste. So in the last year, Ezlerh has brought just so much to BCTV. He's worked incredibly hard behind the camera. He's one of those rare people that does so much in front of the camera as an on-screen talent and so much behind the camera, whether he's responding to one of Vlasta's emails last minute that we need a producer and we really just need somebody to go film a concert, or he's creating his own shows. He's come up with hilarious ideas. He's done comedy, but he's also done really good, serious journalism and gotten great interviews on BCTV, run the whole scope, and it's that versatility that has really impressed me, and he's been a joy to work with in the process. He has created so many shows, we couldn't even pack them into the clip. They are incredible, but we've got some of them anyway here to show. Whenever you're ready.
All right. How's it going, everybody? My name is Ezlerh, and this is a new show that we're trying out with the Art Council. All right, so I am at the Brattleboro Brewers Festival. I have a book right here with all the beers.
Last Sunday, I went to Manchester, New Hampshire, where the Democrats were having the Jefferson-Jackson dinner.
He's with Migrant Justice, and can you explain a little bit what Migrant Justice does?
What is happening to Pine Ridge is something that is happening around the world. Hey, dude, I'm having a show at Hooker Dunham. Yeah, you should come, definitely. Whoa! Oh, hey.
Sorry, I was just flying. There's a lot of cool things. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. That's really nice award. I want to tell, I'm so thankful for, first of all, Brattleboro TV, all of Jeff, Blasta, Core. I mean, you guys are amazing, and have taught me a lot. I came here 2 years ago, and I really didn't know what Brattleboro was going to be like. I followed this woman that later became my wife, and I was like, you know, I'm just going to go, pack 2 bags and a pair of shoes, and I fell in love with it. It's just such a cool place, and it's given me so much, and I don't know if I can even, I try to do videos because I really love to do it, and if somebody would have told me, hey, listen, you're gonna make some money with this, not that it matters, but I went to South Dakota to film a documentary with just doing what I really love to do, which is film, and I guess if there's something that I can say is do what you love and do it often. So thank you so much.
one of the things we like to do is just highlight some of our top viewed videos. We started this last year when we started putting everything on YouTube. And so I've got a little slide here looking at some of our producer content that has generated a lot of views. For our local community with that local kind of interest, it's really great for us to be able to see that where shows go out on cable and we really have no idea how many people are watching or what the impact is, to be able to see that these shows are making a difference and garnering attention and getting out there. So we like to highlight that every year. So give these folks a round of applause. We have Larry Cohen and Karen Wilson from Safe Store Matters, Russ Graybeck and James Bansleben for Rock Voices, Maria Dominguez for the Youth Services Battle of the Bands, and Ezlerh, Oreste, and Maria Dominguez for Bernie Sanders at Keene State College. All right, so my last award here is what we've dubbed in recent years our MVPs, or Most Valuable Producers. And this is really a category that to me feels like it's never enough, but it's kind of the category where all our volunteers that have already won one of these gold statues a previous year get to come up and get recognized. And they really are the lifeblood of the station. And if we could recognize everybody with a gold statue and Beyonce tickets or something, we would give you that. But we have got, I'm going to unveil them right now, these very cool thumb drives. They've got the 40th sticker on them. It's an 8 gig thumb drive. And it's also, if I can figure it out, it's too techie for me. A key light. So you can put it on your keychain, and you also have a flashlight. And so we're going to bring up our MVPs to get one of these and get a round of applause. We're going to put the names up on the screen. Please clap your hearts out, because these guys make BCTV what it is. And again, if we could give everybody a gold statue every year, we would, but for time reasons we can't. So here we go. Our MVPs... Here it is. They are James Bansleben, Janice Sherlau, Marty Cohn, Karen Davis, Maria Dominguez, Andrika Donovan, Nolan Edgar, and you guys, if you hear your name, you can start coming up. Tom Fennell, Russ Graybeck, Kara Hamilton, George Harvey, Ian Keel, Allison Cram, Debbie Lazar, Pete Millett, Toby Moore, Mike Merwicki, Alfred New, Frederick Noyce, Hinton Putnam, Emily Richards, Kip Tewksbury, and Catherine Turnus. Please come on up, you guys.
Thanks, Roland. I think everybody can see how much passion Roland puts into his work with everybody who he interacts with. And I just think that is so inspiring for all of us. And we're just so lucky to have him. My job right now is to recognize retiring board members. And we have 2 people retiring who've been with us almost as long as I've been here. And I honestly hope I don't cry. So, and the 2 of them are Wendy Mason and Joe Bushey. Joe, this is what we call the Lifetime Achievement Award, because there's really no other word for that. Joe joined the board, joined BCTV in 2007 and started crewing for events right away, became active and became known to me as Daryl Pillsbury's cameraman for the Pulse of Brattleboro. Anywhere, doing whatever. Just amazing. He joined the board in 2011 when a short-term board member resigned and we needed to have somebody. And then he also joined Roland as a 545 Live co-anchor and special news correspondent, senior news correspondent. You're right, senior. And we'll see some fun clips of that. And then he got so into doing the news that he even set up his own YouTube channel, Brattleboro News, and we could literally follow him on Facebook all around the town, posting videos, and that's how you knew what was going on. I also feel like Joe's signature move was always him operating the camera and then holding a cell phone to get a picture of him operating the camera. Yeah, yeah. Or we would have Roland taking video, me doing video of him, and Joe doing video, both all at the same time. That was really almost every event. That's what we were doing. We rehabbed the studio from top to bottom in 2012, and Joe was there helping us with the spackling. We took every piece of cabling out of that place and we threw it out the third floor window into the back of his truck. And he drove it off to one of his many, many buddies around town to do something with it. You know, Joe's one of this person who's built a bridge out of it. Yeah, built a bridge out of it. Been buddies with everyone in Brattleboro since birth, and just did so much for the station. Every year during a town meeting, I would have to, he was a town meeting rep, and I would always sit behind him, and he would tell me who every person was who stood up to talk before they started talking so that I could put up their title. And he knew who they were instantly, you know, a room of 200 people. Anyway, there's really not enough to say, Joe, about what you've done for BCTV and the station in every way. So I'm going to let the clip speak for the rest.
Yeah, thanks, Clark.
We've got Wendy's clips in here, too.
Oh, Wendy's clips in here, too.
Wendy's thing
better
first.
into Wendy, too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Okay. Wendy. Wendy Mason joined BCTV in 2008 as a volunteer, so sort of almost the same time as Joe. She came in as a Brattleboro Selectboard camera operator and moved through the ranks very quickly and learned to direct the Selectboard, and so was able to be a relief director, which you really don't have very many of those. Then she moved into directing for the Strolling of the Heifers, Rep Town Meeting, July 4th, and then got recruited to be part of the show Let's Talk About Mental Health, which is now in its 5th season, and they produced a live show weekly on Monday nights about mental health and addiction. So then she joined the board in 2013 and became president the next year. She went out with me on this crazy outreach campaign, going to boards and surveying and talking to people about BCTV. So basically, Wendy is just an amazing, positive, cheerful person who does whatever, just goes with the program, does whatever needs to be done, and brings her light to shine on it. So I'm just incredibly grateful, and I'm sorry Wendy can't be here to see this. She is stepping down off of the board right now.
I really believe in what BCTV does for the community, and I like, as a community member in Brattleboro, I really like being part of that pretty much any way I can.
I'll get you to roll this here teleprompter for a second.
Here we go!
This is Daryl Pillsbury along with somebody new. Joe Bushey is here.
Don't drop the camera!
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a first. Okay, the guy behind the camera of all these shows is now in front of the camera.
I'm Roland Boyden alongside Joe Bushey, and we're broadcasting.
We do it in 15 minutes, so even
And
if
we're on the
get
rooftop now.
It's beautiful. We'll be back.
I just want to thank you all for the opportunity of being part of the BCTV family, because it is nothing less than one big happy family. Thank you very much, all of you.
All right, we've had your attention for a long time. Appreciate it here. We've got one last award to go through here. One last Lifetime Achievement Award so far. So far, every year, CORE has managed to sneak in a surprise award to one of us on staff and give us an award for what we do and help us get recognized and fight hard to keep it a complete secret. So while CORE's attention is being grabbed over there with the photo, we're getting ready to give her a Lifetime Achievement Award. I had to hide my second set of notes here so CORE wouldn't find them. Not that I really need notes to talk about CORE. I've got a clip too. We've got some great video amassed over the years. CORE and I started together 10 years ago, and at the 40th anniversary, it seemed fitting to acknowledge CORE for all she does. I don't think she's worked the hours she's technically allotted once in the whole 10 years she's been here. She's always here, extra, going above and beyond for the station. She cares as much. Attest to that. Cares as much as anybody in BCTV's history has ever cared about the station. To me, she gives us a tremendous amount of freedom on staff. That's probably the thing that I respect most about CORE. We are given so much freedom to do what we want to do because she respects that love of what we do is what helps make BCTV what it is. Is always looking for new and better ways to do things. She alluded to that in the state of the station, always fighting to try and find a different approach to something that will get something new done. And just that immense dedication to the station, it's been terrific. And in that 10 years, she has always had my back. I started when I was 17 years old. Sometimes as a 17-year-old, things don't always go your way. I don't need to go into any details, but CORE has always had my back that whole time, and it means the world to me. So CORE, this was all lost as cookie. Oh, it's already up there. Okay, so the gold statue is out. Okay, we were hiding it in the back room here. This is the Best BCTV Executive Director Award, CORE Trowbridge, 2016.
Thank you.
And before we get the speech, here's some clips of CORE in action.
This is an event to celebrate the signing of our contract with Comcast.
That actually happened.
We're here today in Chicago at the ACM conference. Tomorrow night we're going to be receiving BCTV's 2 awards.
The unique thing about BCTV is that in our area, there's no commercial station. So our station is really the one place on the channel lineup where you can see people you recognize and see events that you were probably at or wanted to go to. I want to just say that BCTV's doors are open to everybody. Bring me your interests, bring me your opinions, bring me your views, and we'll see what we can do about getting them on the air. That's it. Am I going to be addressing Roland because it's 5:45 live? That picture of me sitting down with at the camera is when there was a select board meeting that went until 1 in the morning one time. And I came back from Putney to take a shift because the meeting had gone on so long that all the volunteers, everybody had gone home. Do you remember that meeting? It was like one. You do. Yeah, Dora, you remember that. It was like 1 in the morning. Laughing hysterically. I am surprised to be getting this award, and I really do appreciate it. The staff, everybody who is here, and everybody who started BCTV has always gone above and beyond, and that's what it takes to do this work. But it's my privilege to be working with everybody here. And I really came to this late in life. I wasn't a media person. I came from public service background and volunteerism. I was a planner, and I used to be on BCTV trying to explain these inexplicable grants. And then I would see people in the street, and they would be like, I recognize you. And then I'd say, well, did you understand what I was saying? Like, nope. but it did help to get the word out there. But I ended up getting really interested in technology and the media. And I think that, it's such a powerful tool. What I like about this organization is it's so small, it's like a little boat you can tack in the wind. When something happens, maybe you got a little bit of a dead end, you just head the other way, and you can keep going. These perennial fights with the cable companies, they're going to be a thing, but we're going to still keep going because there's a way to do it. I can't do that without all my people. I just keep asking the questions, and eventually there's an answer. So I really appreciate the recognition, and thank you all for being here, especially the people who are here from the Wayback Machine. It's really wonderful to see you out here tonight. And I hope you take time to take it in and see all that you've made. Thanks.